Hi everyone, Sid here back in the car. It's been a while, but I wanted to shoot what I think will be a quick video on the topic of internet blood sports. I still am in the process of watching Warski live stream where they were talking about the format itself, and I will say that I am a big fan of it. I cherry pick though. I'm not going to watch every one of them. It depends who's on and what's being talked about. I watch them mainly on Warski Live, but I will say that the all-out, duke-it-out internet debates that have been a new up-and-rising trend on YouTube recently has been valuable to me in the sense that not only is it entertaining, it's also educational in the sense that it's important to, I've been a fan of arguments and debating for as long as I can remember. I've been pretty consistent on that, even on this channel. As a matter of fact, that's kind of my criticism of, one of my criticisms of SJWs, which is the whole I'm not going to give you a platform thing. I'm not going to legitimize your arguments by discussing with you. My bullshit sense, it tingles pretty hard when I hear that. There's a plausible argument to be made that it's just rationalizing your cowardice. And I think that the fact that Warski apparently has trouble getting SJWs to get on his stream to talk to people is a symptom of that. I think that it's important. Like, these live streams have been my main source of information on the alt-right, and that will eventually be its own video. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, like since before Christmas, but I just haven't had the time to organize my thoughts enough to produce something that I think would be worthy, so to speak, for lack of a better term. I think that the reason that it is valuable is because it's not only important to be familiar with the alt-right's talking points, but it's also important to be familiar with how those talking points are presented and common rebuttals to those. I'm going to take the very brave, bold stance of not being alt-right, of being against the alt-right, but it's important to be able to detect when someone is alt-right curious, and just having them on your YouTube stream is not sufficient evidence, let's say. But yeah, it's important to be able to detect those things. And I will say, Richard Spencer, he's clearly very smart, and he's clearly charming. He's a charismatic, good speaker, and I think that's part of what his appeal is. However, he's said some pretty crazy ass shit, which I will eventually cover in more detail. But yeah, he explicitly rejects the non-aggression principle. He called it goofy, and yeah, I can see how people would consider him dangerous, but it's important to be familiar with that material, which is why I enjoy watching these. And I also have a personal link to the Bloodsports format, because me personally, my experience with having debates or vigorous conversations where we disagree in person has been in a Bloodsports setting, where almost none of my debates have been one-on-one. It's either not a debate at all because I'm in I'm in an echo chamber of other libertarians who agree with me, or it's been 2-on-1 or more. Even at a party, if it starts off as 1-on-1, because someone asks me a question and I answer honestly, eventually someone will overhear and jump in, and then it's off to the Bloodsports. So I'm quite familiar with it. I enjoy it. I think it makes you a stronger debater, which is important, because, you know, when you can't use your words to convey your views, eventually you will use your fists, and that's what is important to avoid. And that's the danger of deplatforming, so to speak. So yeah, it's valuable to participate and to watch these kinds of debates. And I think that the fact that they're so popular is a clue that there is a demand for this kind of no holds barred, let's just sit down and talk, even if it boils down into a screaming match. That's part of the moderator's job, to make it enjoyable, because, you know, 50 people, okay, let's adjust those numbers. 5 people screaming rabble, rabble, rabble at the same time is not entertaining for anyone. So that's where a good moderator would serve the purpose of at least having the speaking points be intelligible. So yeah, I hope that the popularity of this format continues to rise. I also hope to elaborate more on specifically the alt-right and the things that I've deduced from watching debates, both formal and Bloodsports format, with these people. I will. This is kind of a primer for that conversation, which I've wanted to have since before Christmas, as I mentioned. So what do you think of Bloodsports? Do you think that no matter who is on, that there's value in having that person duke it out with other people? Why do you think that it's hard for SJWs to agree to and follow up on, you know, showing up on one of these shows? And do you think that it's a cesspool breeding ground for the alt-right? Leave your comments below. I'm curious. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and share this. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to me on YouTube or whatever other social media that you're watching this on. If you're yeah, you'll find links to all my social media below. My Instagram is entirely improv. I've made a point of dedicating it for that. And yeah, I will speak to you soon.